Hello.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. It is kind of weird to talk to somebody you've never actually seen their face.
I know. I think about that all the time. How oh, as little as like 30 or 40 years ago, like this was it. Like
Yeah, right?
it was just calling strangers no matter the
Yeah.
situation. Nobody knew anybody.
Forget. And it's like organically meeting somebody. Like there was no meeting people online. Like
Yeah.
you had to go to a show and like meet people at a show, or you know what I mean?
Everything used to be like, you seem interesting. Wanna wanna
Yeah,
continue this?
exactly.
So
Do
hello.
you live in LA?
Yes, I do.
So in like LA proper, or like
Yeah. I'm in
Hollywood?
LA. I am in LA proper. I live in North
Oh,
Hollywood. I work in Venice. So
wow.
I am all over Los Angeles.
Are you native to California, or
Oh, am
did you
I
move to
being
LA?
interviewed? I'm originally from New Orleans actually.
Oh, cool.
Yes, I'm originally from New Orleans and then went to school in upstate New York, then went to school again in Pittsburgh and then came to Los Angeles. So I've kind of lived all over at this point.
Cool. I am a native Californian and I've never left. I think I lived in Tennessee for a summer, but that was it. Can't seem to move anywhere.
Do you like it here though?
Yeah, I love it.
Right, like that's the
I
thing.
love it here.
I feel like because I went to New York and I feel like everyone's either a New York person or an LA person. But I went to New
Yeah,
York and was like, ew, ugh.
yeah.
Fine for a visit.
What I like about New York is that like you can get anywhere on public transit.
Oh,
Like
absolutely. If
same
this
thing. That's why I love London, because you can get anywhere.
the
But
second Los
I'd want to live in
Angeles
either place.
the second Los Angeles gets an honest to God like transit system that can drop you off within 2 to 3 blocks of where you need to be,
Oh
it's
yeah.
over. It's over. There's
They'll
no
have it
there's
done. I don't understand why they don't have that set up yet. That's like it's mind-boggling to me.
I know. I'm like, just let the people with classic cars own the roads. They can have them.
Yeah,
Just give us our public transpo.
yeah,
Bring back, I was thinking about this the
100%.
other day. I was like, bring back the messenger services. They're the only people
Yeah,
with cars. The only, that's it.
exactly.
So, you're, please state your name.
Yeah, my name's April Smith. I'm 46-year-old. I identify as a female.
Dope.
I'm like, I don't know. Go ahead and ask me some questions.
Absolutely. So, how did you discover oral?
So I listened to Sirius in my car, and they were playing him in pretty heavy rotation on Sirius XMU, which is like the indie station, which is generally what I listen to in the car.
Right.
I'm just too lazy to like whip out my phone unless I'm going for a long drive. I put something on that like I actually want to listen to, but I find that I like it because it kind of broadens my field of things that I listen to. So the song they're playing it pretty heavily, and I was like interested, but it was a really busy summer. What was that? Shit, 2019.
Right.
Yeah, so I was traveling to, like I said, to see mini mansions all over California on their tour, and so I was listening to him kind of, and I like right before I left for that tour, I downloaded his album, and so I was listening to it pretty heavily. But I was really like kind of focused. I was spending a lot of time with friends at the time, and I didn't really like do much research into like when he was touring or anything. I was just kind of enjoying the album. And then when I got home, I was like, I started to do a little bit more research, and I was like, oh, I wonder if he's going to go on tour with this album. And he literally played like half an hour from my house, like 2 days prior.
Uh huh.
And so I was like, oh shit. So it took me, I don't think I saw him again. I think right before the pandemic
Yeah.
was the first time I saw him. And then, I mean, we had this big hiatus. And since then, I've probably seen him I want to say 3 or 4 times.
What is it? Because you obviously like go to a lot of shows, and it seems like you have like a very wide musical interest.
Yeah.
What is it about his stuff that sort of stands out?
So he's kind of like kitschy country, which is, I love that. And he also has, I'm a lyrics person. So if like I pay attention to lyrics, and so his lyrics kind of drew me in. Um, the fact that he isn't like, I don't want to say traditionally country sounding,
Mm-hmm.
but he's more like alternative country sounding. I fucking hate pop country. It's been like the bane of my existence my entire life. My parents were into like classic country when I was growing up, so I grew up with that sound, and it's something I'm familiar with.
Yeah.
But I just like the artistry that he brings to it, like the fact that he's a dancer, and like I don't know. And I have an affinity for gay men. I identify as pan.
Uh-huh.
I've always had a thing for like effeminate men, and just the way that he moves was very attractive. I mean, and I saw that after. I think it was the lyrics that really drew me in to begin with.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I love The Mask, obviously, that air of mystery.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I'm also like a lyrics first person. I actually like,
Yeah.
I think I found Orville like a lot of people do. I actually saw him before I ever heard his music. It was that famous photo of him and Little Nas X and Diplo at the Grammys. And I was like, okay, I know that person is. I've seen that person before, but who's that guy?
Yeah. Right.
And then I was very into The Mask. Like I was very into the camp and the kitsch of it. And I was like, ooh, I love cowboys. Like that's great. But then when I like got into the music, I'm also a lyrics first person. That's where most music loses me. Cause I'm like, I don't know what it is. Like I don't understand music. Like I can't like listen to a piece of music and be like, that's a good piece of music and that's a crappy piece of music. I'm like, what's the story in conjunction with the lyrics? Like that's the only thing I can like relate to. And like one of the, because you were into Bronco, so I can probably talk a little bit more about the specifics of Pony and the albums. That the Buffalo Run, how it like starts off as like this angry song and then it goes into like a punk riff at the end, like blew my mind. I was like, oh my god, that's so damn cool.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite songs.
Oh, cool. What's your favorite song? Do you have a favorite overall song or like a favorite song per album?
I mean, yeah, if I really sat down and thought about it. I mean, I don't think there's ever a time where I'm listening to his music where I'm like, oh, I'm sick of this song. You know what I mean? Like,
Totally.
Turn to Hate was the first song that I ever heard of his, and I fucking, like, love that song. So whenever he plays it live, I'm like, you go nuts. But it's funny because, like, with other bands, they'll be like, oh, they play that song all the time on the radio, and I'm not really into it.
Mm-hmm.
Just because I've heard it so many times. But with his music, it doesn't affect me in that way. I don't know if maybe it's because it's still kind of new, in relation to other bands that I've listened to that have been around since, the early 2000s or,
Right.
But, I mean, I guess I would have to say Turn to Hate was probably my favorite song on Pony. Kids on Show Pony. Bronco. I really fucking love Bronco. When he plays it live, that's amazing. Any Turn. I don't know why that song is just like, it's so campy and like fun. I love that song. But I mean, if I really wanted to dive deeper, I could go into things that were more like, oh, this one got me more emotionally.
Oh yeah. I mean,
I don't think there's one song that I'm like, oh, I don't like this.
Absolutely. Even like on Bronco, probably the first when Daytona Sand came out in conjunction with the music video, I was like, oh, this
Yeah,
is it. This is gonna be my favorite song on the album. Daytona Sand
yeah,
is so damn good. But then
yeah,
I heard Kalahari Down, and that
yeah,
like that song, like it was just like boom, hit my emotion button, and now I like, I can't sing it, I can't listen to it without like screaming, where do we
yeah,
go, Mendocino, like just like an
yeah.
idiot. It's so fun. um Definitely off Show Pony. Everybody loves his version of Fancy because gay, but
Yeah,
I love Summertime, and I don't think I've gotten to see him perform Summertime live. So I'm
yeah,
really hoping that at some point for this at this
oh, yeah.
3-day concert.
He's, he's gotta. I mean, he's gonna play everything. I think over the weekend of rodeo. I mean, he's performing every day, so I think we can kind of. I would assume he would, vary it up and play almost everything.
Absolutely. That's like I'm so excited for that.
Yeah.
So you've been to like 3 or 4 shows. How would you describe the vibe? Do you love it?
Uh, so it's okay. So for me, because I go to a lot of shows, I'm driving to Interpol right now at Happy Period. So I like going to shows and I go to a lot of shows. But one thing I have to say is that it depends on what city you're in. I mean, fans across the board are always going to be kind of varied.
Yep.
And so LA, I find sometimes can have a really shitty crowd just because everybody's kind of like pretentious and like, and then look at me and I'm like losing my shit and I could care who else is around me. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like, if I'm at a show, I'm there to hear the music. And like, if people are having a whole fucking conversation behind me, I'm going to turn around and I'm going to say something. You know what I mean? Like, I want to enjoy myself. I'm here. I bought these tickets. I had ticket anxiety to get the tickets. Like, I want to enjoy myself, and I want everybody around me to also enjoy themselves. And I know a lot of people aren't going to do that if somebody's like having a full-on first date conversation behind you. It's rowdy. Like at the show in Vegas, there were some chicks in front of us that were just being like really rude. But I don't, it's like I kind of like try to like put that out of my mind because I'm that person. I'm like in a zone when I'm at a show. My husband